What's going on, guys? Hopefully, I'm not having any technical difficulties tonight. It seems to always be an issue every time I get on live. Um, Hopefully, if anybody joins, they can hear me. Can you hear me? Perfect. Let's see. Can you hear me? Hey, what's going on, guys? So tonight, just a general kind of discussion forum for single dads. So this week, my son turns 8. It's one of the things I'm struggling with. I think it gets harder and harder every birthday. They get a little older and they start to become their own little person, and you kind of realize that the things that you really enjoyed um, about them growing up, you're kind of missing out on. That's what I'm struggling with this week. Is My son turns 8 years old, and I'm struggling with it. I Some of the things that I started doing with my son, and like I think the hardest thing is that he's starting to get like a lot bigger than he has been. He's 70 pounds now, and I think that the thing I miss the most about him being little is like the being able to pick him up and carry him around all the time. I mean, I can still pick him up and carry him around. Just I can't carry him like I used to. Like I can't carry him on the front of me anymore. I can like do like the fireman's carry with him. So that's one of the things I'm struggling with. And my son, he's been saying lately that he said that he's getting older, and he keeps saying, I wish I could. What did he say today? He said, I wish I could grow old on the inside but stay 7 on the outside. Um, it's kind of funny how kids like think that way. Like they think being a kid's all great, and it's funny because like each age they get to, like they have the ability to do even more stuff than they could before. Like tonight we went to the pond, and we were catching frogs, and like on the way home he's like, I don't want to turn 8. Um, and I was like, well, if you weren't turning 8, you wouldn't be able to catch frogs. So every age has its new things that they can do. It's for a while it was like crossing that 48-inch threshold so they could go on the rides, and now he's doing that. Uh, Charlotte, thanks for saying you don't care at all, but logging in and watching, I appreciate that. Um, so if there's dads out there that are kind of going through struggles, this is kind of the forum for that. I'm a single dad. I've been a single dad since my son was 4 years old. So right about 4 years now, I've been a single dad. And my channel is basically to kind of, well, first and foremost, I have my dad jokes every day. So if you like dad jokes, you like laughing, please subscribe. I have new jokes every day. I didn't do one today. I'm thinking about maybe doing one. I did get a new computer today, so that's kind of went into that. But a lot of my content is single dad related. I do have. Hi, Katerina. Thank you for logging in. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say you're not a single dad, but that's okay. I appreciate you logging in, watching. Um, so yeah, basically the topic for tonight is watching our kids grow up fast. And I don't know if you're parents or not, but they say it's like the greatest joy. Watching our kids grow up is the best thing in the world. Thank you. I appreciate you subscribing. That's awesome. Um, it's been a good week for subscriptions. I finally crossed the 500 subscriber threshold this past week, and it's honestly truly a blessing. Uh, it's still kind of weird to me that people want to hear what I have to say. I know I have a lot of subscribers for my dad jokes, and slowly some of my other content's starting to grow up a little bit. My military videos are probably my biggest driver right now. Um, but my goal is that my parenting stuff is stuff that takes off too, because I mean, honestly, like all the things that I talk about have to do with who I am. It's kind of like my goal is to help people. So I love supporting cause. I'm a small YouTuber. So you're a small YouTuber. So how many subscribers do you have? It's kind of like one of the things I want to talk about too. If there's people that are jumping on that are small creators as well, don't feel like you have to post it just about one thing. I mean, if there's things that you're passionate about, feel free to get on and kind of just make videos about things that you're passionate about. When I started this channel, like obviously my goal was to uh, be an outlet for single dads to be able to come on and kind of get good advice and be able to be the best dads that they can be. Because honestly, it is hard. And when I was becoming a single dad, there wasn't really any channels of like positive like information to be put out there. Most of it was fighting family court, and like family court is important, like that part of it is, but like I want dads to know that there's like you can still be a great dad even if you're going through turmoil and a hard time in life. So, um, but if you're a small YouTuber, I guess what I want to say is like don't feel like you have to post about one single thing. Like I know a lot of channels say you need to be on in one specific niche and like don't go outside that because you'll confuse the algorithm. And I've been a creator since August of last year. Oh, I actually started like 2 years ago, and I started filming shorts about a year ago. So, like, if you look at my dad jokes of the day, that's been going since August of last year, and that's really my main driver of being able to stay connected with people, is making my jokes, and that's the majority of where my subscribers come from is my shorts. I am starting to get more people on my long form, and I did start live streaming last week. And I do like the live streaming. It gives me an opportunity to be able to have conversations with people that I wouldn't be able to have normally. Because sometimes with the algorithm, like your videos just don't get pushed. So like you can make a video and you think it has a lot of great information and you put it out there and nobody watches it. So the information is kind of wasted. But on like to be able to come on here and be able to just have a conversation and people just jump in and I can kind of talk about those things, it's pretty awesome. But if you are a small creator, which it looks like you are, the nice thing is that like you can kind of try different things. You can like when you're a large channel, you have to worry about like appeasing the people that watch you, because if you have a big following, they're probably following you for one thing. When you're a small creator and you have a passion project and you just want to help people, or there's a certain stuff that you want to talk about, you can try different things. You can talk about different things. You can present your information different ways, and there's not really any need to be able to constantly do the same thing over and over and over again, because honestly, you're too small. You're King Von. So you're a ninja sniper. Thanks for joining and watching in. I appreciate it. So I don't know how accurate this counter is on my thing because it says there's nobody's watching, but I'm definitely watching on my computer so that I can kind of keep track of the chat. um, so, but going back to the original reason why I made this stream tonight, So my son's turning 8 years old, and kind of the thing I want to discuss is with people is just kind of embracing every day that you have. Um, a lot of times, and I was guilty of this when I first became a dad, is that I would look forward to the next milestone, and honestly, like when they start to get a little older and like the time goes by so fast, uh, like you missed the times that you had prior. Like so I always like tell people, I'm like, just enjoy the moment. Like the stuff, the simple stupid stuff that you're doing right now. Like if you have a baby or you just have a newborn or like you have a toddler, um, stop looking forward to what's next. Like because honestly, the stuff that you're doing right now is the stuff that you're gonna miss the most when they start getting older and you start getting older. So don't look back and regret like things that you didn't do. Um, and like I said, my son, like this past year, he's probably grown the most he's grown in like his life. Like I would say there's probably like the biggest jump in this past year. Um, he was like 50 pounds last year and barely 48 inches. And now he's 70 pounds today. And he's growing up like a beanstalk. Uh, but I did pick him up like Simba today. So um, he might be getting bigger, but he's still not big enough for me not to pick him up. So uh, it's little victories. And honestly, like, there's been like a lot of those videos recently that I've seen. Like, I know my son's only 8, but like I've seen like the videos of like the last time that like you hug your kid, like or you pick up your kid like you did when they were a kid. And those videos like they hit me hard. But again, the reason for my channel is I'm a single dad, and I've been single by choice for about 3 years now. After I went through my custody battle, it didn't really feel right dating. And now that I kind of got into being a dad, um, it's really hard to get back into the dating world because like my main focus has been on my son, and honestly, like I don't want to take away time away from my son to be dating, um, and that's a pretty interesting dynamic and feeling. So I mean, like if any of you guys are watching and you have like these type of topics you want to talk about, feel free to put them in the chat. Right now I just kind of ramble on about random thoughts that I'm thinking about. So, um, but so again, my son turns 8 this week, and I'm finding it really hard to come to terms with the fact that he's not going to be a little kid anymore. We went to the playground this past week, and like it was fun, but like you could see parts where he started to grow like a little older and a little more mature, and the things that used to be fun to him aren't as fun as they were before. And I really enjoyed the little kid phase. Like I think it's so fun having a little guy around, and when my son turned 2 and like he really started to like be active, and like I loved like the wrestling phase. Like we would set up the bed and I would do like power bombs with him and like body slams, and uh, that's the funnest part about having a boy. Hey, what's going on, man? Welcome back. I appreciate you hopping on. How's it going? Things getting better? And it's awesome. It's awesome that I'm getting return people. I like having these conversations and kind of building a community. So, if you're logging on now, I have multiple things I talk about on my channel, between being a single dad, between my faith, between the military, between grief and loss, between motivation in life. Um, just I talk about everything on my page. Just kind of try to make people better people. Um, that's a positive attitude. So if I can't remember, I know you're going through some hard times. I guess one piece of advice I want to give you. I don't know if I gave this advice yet. journaling. I think journaling is an amazing thing to do, especially like if you're going through a hard time right now. And the reason why I say that is because when you journal, like you have the ability to go back and read the stuff that uh, like when each day gets a little bit better, like you can go back and see, wow, like I've really progressed a lot since that day. So I think journaling is really good. Um, and like I still be like, you can kind of journal in any way you want. Like you can do it as like a letter to yourself. You can do it as a letter to somebody else. Whatever things you're feeling. And I think like I remember when I was going through my custody battle, and like I was going through hell, and I had my composition book. I would just take it out and just start writing. Um, and honestly, I think there's something really therapeutic about putting your thoughts down on paper. And then if you're to the point where you can go to like therapy, or you're comfortable enough to talk to other people, I think sometimes being able to kind of externalize those voices of like the things that you're feeling, or the things in life that you're going through. I think like hearing yourself actually say them, or reading the stuff that you're actually saying, I think there's great growth there. So um I know you said you were in northern Louisiana. I know you were looking for a new job because your boss sucks. Um, did you look into those jobs at the oil field, or did you take a look at your resume yet, or updating it? Yeah, good job. Um, how do you feel about it? So I think like in this week, I think it's really good. Like one thing I did to like kind of when I was going through my interviewing processes is like again I like writing stuff down. So if you can take like a notebook, take like some key points that you want to talk about. Don't necessarily write down um like sentences, but like take like bullet points, and like just put things that you've done, things you've accomplished, things that you're proud of, and just give yourself key points to talk about. I don't know if you're is it an in-person interview, or is it online, like a video? Because I feel like there's a lot of I mean, you did your time and you were rehabilitated. I mean, that's supposed to be the way the system works, is that you are able to rehabilitate yourself, and that you're okay. So in person, what I always do is, if you can, like I said, we're in a time of like AI. Like the best way to progress yourself is to find ways of using it. I use ChatGPT. I use Gemini. They're really good because you can, like, even if you don't know how to do a resume, like you could just you could make bullet points, like put like went to school here, got this certification, had this job, and like you don't have to put it in any specific order. But then you can take it, you can put it in a Word document, you can copy that Word document, go to the AI search engine, and you can put, can you please put together a resume for this kind of job? Uh, Please see my attached bullet points of my experience. Can you please put that in a well thought out resume? And you can put in, and you can press enter, and the AI will create a resume for you that's targeted toward that specific job. And then I would have a couple copies of your resume there, because if there's a couple different people that are working for the job, uh, you can give it to them. And then secondly, like give yourself talking points, because I think one of the hardest things, and it's kind of like what I've kind of gotten better at doing this whole streaming thing, and content creation, is getting confident in myself. But it's good to take a notepad, and like have bullet points of topics you want to talk about. Like I said, don't you don't need to write sentences out, but like if you can just give yourself little cues, little like bullet points of things you want to talk about, like my job career, my strengths, my weaknesses, and find like a weakness that's hard for you. So like um, I think that's the hardest thing to do is like your weaknesses. But I think a lot of times, like when you're in interviews, I think that I think interviewers get a lot out of like when you can be vulnerable and you can kind of like really say what your issues are. Um, like my thing is like I tend to wear my heart on my sleeve, so like sometimes I can take things personally, but you can kind of like skew your things into positives. Like my thing is like I might make mistakes, but I believe I learn more from my mistakes than I do from my failures. And I'm grateful for the mistakes I make because without being able to make those mistakes, I wouldn't be the person I am now. So again, but I have one of those mindsets that like I think if it doesn't kill us, it makes us stronger. So, but that's awesome that you got to interview. There was like one when I was in college, we had like some classes about like professional communication, and like they said, like when you're going through the process, find ways of making yourself confident. And they said like one of the ways to do that is like try and like your body language says a big thing. So like when you're in an interview, try not to be like scrunched in, try not to be like hunched over, or they say to have like good posture, kind of like be open, because when you act that way, it makes them want to engage with you. So like they say before you go to your interview, like just go in the bathroom and get really big and like just like be confident in yourself, and that'll carry into your interview. So um, I mean honestly, like I see what you're saying, but like I don't think you should ever downplay like something that you want to do. Um, like the way I always interpreted everything is treat every job like it's the last job you're gonna have. Um, and if you have that mindset, like if you tell yourself it's just a job, when you go in there, you're gonna have this mindset that like you're gonna set yourself up for failure. Like your goal is that you wanna tell them basically like, I'm passionate about what I do. I want to work for this company. I'm passionate about this field. Like I can see myself doing this for a long period of time. Um, and like that's the kind of stuff like they want to see as the positive attitude. And that can separate you from other people. So I would not tell people that. So like when it comes to salary, like that was like the one thing I didn't really disclose until like the end. And then when they finally gave me the salary range, like it was like way above like what I'd ever made before. And I was like, yeah, that sounds acceptable. So like they say like anything you say, you should say it with confidence. So um do a double live birth. Can you please explain what that is, Neptune Red? But yeah, honestly, like just go in there confident. Like they want to see that you're like the kind of questions you should ask back is like what are you looking for in your ideal employee? Like what kind of attributes do you want to see from the people that work here? Um like be confident in yourself. Like that's why I say, but just be prepared. Um, they're gonna ask you the basic personality questions. Your work, your work history, things that you've done, times that you've failed in the past, times that you've learned from that. Like, just get yourself prepared to answer those kind of questions. Your strengths, your weaknesses. Find ways of making your weaknesses strengths. It's always did like because I used to manage people a long time ago, And whenever I wanted to get something better out of somebody, I would always, obviously, there's always like if you're talking to somebody, there's bad news there. But if you kind of make it like a sandwich, and you put like the crappy part in the middle, and then you surround it by like two positives, like be like, well, I'm really strong at this, but then I do have this weakness, but from this weakness I gain strength. Like if you can pitch it that way, like you'll be a shoo-in. Um, be confident, be smile, like smile. Smiling is important. Because there's always like the one thing is like you can have talent, you can have experience, but if you can have a positive attitude and you can show positive body language, like that's the people want to be around, and that's in any job field. What are you doing for dinner and dessert? Uh, so I'm on a weight loss program. If you go on my website, I'm in the army, and basically I failed height and weight. So I've been on a strict 1,700 calorie a day diet. So um, tonight I had healthy choice chicken Alfredo, um, and then to make it really fancy, I crushed up some Doritos in one of those self-serve bags, and I poured it on there for a little crunch and flavor. And then I had a sherbet bar for dessert. So what's going on, Jonathan? Thank you for joining in and commenting. I appreciate it. They say it's very fast paced because they're trying to build out more seeking capacity fast due to the war. They said they gotta learn fast and take things personally. Oh, not take things personally. Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, you said you were in the military too, right? So I mean, you're used to people yelling at you. Um, yeah. I mean, if you can find a way to separate that, uh, I know it's hard, uh, but maybe you should go watch Armageddon first, and then you can get the get the drilling part, seeing the drilling community, and kind of build from that. When's your interview? It's on Monday. So you gotta take a boat to get there. No, it's on the coastal port. Well, at least you don't have to worry about like not making a boat or a ferry, so that's good. Um, but that's cool. Yeah, I mean, just prepare yourself. Like I said, take notes, get everything you want to talk about. Kind of go through a dry run prior. Honestly, like again, like the AI can be such a good tool for stuff, and you can pretty much prompt it to do anything for you. I mean, you can even give it like if you've already submitted your application and they've already seen your resume, just kind of put your work history in there, and you could be like, "Can you please provide me typical questions they might ask in this type of job?" And you can kind of prep yourself so like you're not caught off guard with anything, because that's the worst when like they catch you off guard with something. And you're like, so yeah, it sounds like an awesome job. Just I would invest in some sunscreen probably, especially on the Louisiana coast. That's awesome. But you're talking on a phone though, right? I'm assuming that you're on a phone on YouTube. Yeah, Copilot's really good. I use it at work all the time. a lot of times in my job, I have to write emails that are kind of angry, and I need to like make them not sound angry because I need to like maintain um, relationships. So being a giant jerk isn't really conducive to building relationships. Yeah, so I would download Gemini is a really good. I really like Gemini as an AI tool. But just go in there and be like, can you please give me prompts or question types for this job? This is my experience. And you can honestly ask it for advice. And once it gives you it populates the answer for you, you can press, there's a speaker button on it and it'll talk it all out for you. Like I said, a lot of people are against using AI, but like it's not going anywhere. And if you can find ways of utilizing it in your everyday life to kind of like make you more efficient, then use it. Because it's not going anywhere. And honestly, if you're able to start using it, it gives you a leg up moving forward. But I am definitely gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray that like it goes well, that you have the confidence that that basically you get what you're hoping for. So, um, yeah, just have you thought about getting a haircut or what you're gonna wear? Because I mean, honestly, like sometimes even like that's like if you can just wear like something that you wouldn't normally wear, you can like iron a shirt, wear a tie. I know it seems silly because I know you said like it's a blue collar job, but I think like even if like you put yourself and you dress nice and you kind of give yourself the confidence that like when you answer those questions, you can answer them confidently um, and honestly be humble. Like I know you said you have a past and a history. Like be honest and humble about those things because I feel like when you're honest and humble, like people tend to want to help those type of people out and they want to be around those people. So like when I was going, so basically talk about my video this week, basically about my family court stuff, and um, you know I was able to finally basically I had an order of protection against me, and it finally concluded this week, and I made a video about it. But basically, like I was in the middle of all that when I was interviewing for my current job. And I told him, I was like, listen, I was like, if you run a background check on me, this might be something that you might see. But I want to be forthcoming and honest because that's the type of person I am. Like I want to show integrity. Like I don't want you ever to perceive that I'm doing something wrong or I'm trying to hide something. Like this is who I am. This is part of what it is, but that's not my past is what I've went through. It's what I'm going through, but it's not who I am. Basically I think people take a lot of stuff like that into like they find that to be a high character attribute to be able to have that kind of humility. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I even have a video about this on my channel. Um, I buy all my clothes from Goodwill, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Like I have tons of polos, I have tons of dress downs, and they have really nice stuff. And like literally, like the outfit I was wearing earlier, nice clothes, um, cost me $6. So again, like don't feel bad about it if you have to go there because they honestly do have a lot of nice clothes there, and you can put a really nice outfit together for maybe $9. Yeah, like I mean here like a dress shirt costs like $4, and if you're military, you can sign up for an account. And you'll get 15% off. Yeah, I mean you can buy really nice dress downs. I mean, I bought a blazer, a sport coat for $8, and it's like nice stuff too. Um, like my whole wardrobe is all Goodwill because I'm like at the point where I'm like, would I rather spend my money on things that like I actually care about? Like I'd rather take my money and buy and take my son out to dinner or go to the museum or something. You know, when I was younger, I used to be really like I used to think I'd like buy the nicest clothes and like I thought that was what was really important. But then like as I've gotten older, like I just find that that's not really as important anymore. I mean, honestly, it takes a little bit to like get over your pride when you're walking into a store like that, and you're like, "Is everybody judging me?" But like at the end of the day, like no. So, um, if you have to go to Goodwill, don't feel bad about it. And honestly, don't wear a suit and tie. That might overkill his job. You should just show up in a tuxedo and a top hat with a cane, like in Step Brothers. um, honestly, like nothing is overkill. Like I know people think that, but like I think like honestly, this is what I would do. Go in, find like a nice pair of like blue pants. Get like a brown belt. Find like kind of like a neutral color shirt. You can find like white, maybe plaid. Um, like finding a nice colored shirt. I like blue pants. I like brown shoes, brown belt, um, and then kind of like a maybe a brown or a white or blue button down. Uh, buy a tie. If you don't know how to tie a tie, I will film a short this week about how to tie a tie for you. Trust me, like you can't overdo it. Like I said, I think people I think people see the effort. I think people see the character and stuff like that. And like so I'm big into faith and like um what was I gonna say? So like when you like Jesus says like when you're fasting that like don't show people you're struggling. Like it's easy to be disheveled or it's easy to make excuses for certain things and have that be a reward. But like when you fast, I feel like you're supposed to be quiet about it and kind of like still carry yourself on and kind of like still comb your hair, still do this, still do that. So again, like honestly, like it would be so cheap for you to just put together like I said, a pair of pants is probably $4 to $5. Shirts $4. You could probably buy a tie for like $1, $1.50. You could probably buy a belt for like $2, $3. Um, if they have dress shoes there, those are probably like maybe like I don't know, like $10, $11. Um, so I mean, you could have pants, belts, shoes, and what did I say? Pants, boots, or pants, shoes, belt, shirt, tie. You could probably less than $20. Do you have an iron at home? Are you worried about the drug test? Honestly, they probably have an iron at Goodwill too. They have everything there. Or if you go to Target, I think they have one for like $11. Cause I have a cheap iron from Target. Well, that's awesome. So you don't have to worry about that. So, um, like I said, sell yourself for why they should hire you. Um, so this is the best analogy I do. So like if you're going there and you've never done that before, like the current job, um, this is like the one thing I always told people. And being in the army, this is you might be able to understand it. So like in basic training, you go through weapons training, and they have you shoot with your M16 or M4 or whatever it is at the time. And they always like the drill sergeants would say, um, if you've shot before, this might be difficult for you, or if you've been a shooter before, this could be difficult for you because you're gonna fall on bad habits. If you haven't done that before, the one thing positive you can say is that like, listen, I might not know this system, I might not know exactly what you do, but I'm always willing to learn, and I love learning and I love training. If you train me the way that you want me to be, that's the way I'm gonna be. So if you need this specific type of employee with this specific skill set and you're gonna teach that, then if you teach me that, that's exactly how it's gonna be done. So you can use that as like a strength too. Like if they ask if you've done this type of work before or if it's something different, be like, listen, I'm always willing to learn. So I think if it was dismissed, um, you could say. I mean, you could say that. I mean, honestly, if it's on your record, I mean, do you know what? Do you know exactly what's on your background? Like, if they were to go online, I think they could only. It would only show what the actual charge is on there. So your background check probably says simple battery and on LEO. Later was dismissed. So if it's dismissed, it wouldn't be on your record. And if you're depleted down a simple battery, that's probably all it's on your record then. Um, I mean, just be prepared to have a statement of how you would discuss it. I mean, be like, I mean, I know you discussed it previously, um, why it happened. So I mean, be honest about it. Because honestly, again, that's going to show your character. It's going to show your integrity. It's going to show that you're trustworthy. Um, those are all things that employers want to see from you. Because again, like you can't, you can coach things that people know. You can coach certain things, but you can't coach attitude. You can't adjust attitude. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I mean the whole point is that you're rehabilitated and like you've done your time and um, just again show a positive attitude, show humility, uh, have confidence to yourself, like show that this job means something to you and uh, you're excited to where it could take you. Um, and I promise that the next stream that we have next week, you'll be telling me that you got the job and you're moving forward with your life. So I was at the quote. It's like you don't control the cards that are dealt to you in life, but you can what you do control is how you play those cards. So um, use those tools, use your strengths, use your your humbleness. Like all that stuff can help you. Um, if you pray, I would say pray this week. And honestly, like maybe if you do pray already, just kind of adjust the way you make your prayers. Like I always tell people, I'm like, don't pray like you're asking for a wish, because I feel like when you make those type of prayers, like you don't necessarily get them. I know we talked about this before, but kind of like going towards. I always try to pray for like my gratitude first. Like I'm grateful for this. I'm blessed for this. Like I mean, because you look at, I mean, you said you've been homeless before, and if you can wake up in a warm bed, if you can wake up with clean clothes, if you can uh, open up your fridge and there's some food in there, it might not be the best, but if you look at it in a perspective that like there's somebody out there right now that would kill to be in your shoes, I think that's a good mindset to be in, and like if it like when it was me going for my interview, I'd be like, dear God, please watch over me, please guide me. You provide this opportunity in my life. I'm ready for this next step. I trust in you that you're gonna guide me to where you need me to be. Um, Please just guide me, even if I can't see it. I'll trust in you that you'll guide me to where I need to be. So that's kind of the mindset I try to have. And when you kind of have that mindset, like uh, you feel like there's something pushing you, and that something can help. So um, I mean, I don't think it would hurt. I mean, like I said, I belong to a church. I read scripture. I pray, and I think that there's something special about going to church, especially when it comes to like the worship music and um, just being around positive people. Like I feel like that's like it gives you a feeling that just open up your Bible doesn't. So I mean, if you're a person that goes to church or you've gone to church, um, I would I would say it couldn't hurt you. Um, and honestly, one of the things that I do sometimes is when I go to church, I just look up and I pray and I just say, hey God, I'm in your house. Watch over me, please guide me. I got a good opportunity tomorrow. Looks like there's a lot of positive signs coming out of it. Um, just guide me in the way you want and prepare yourself. Like I said, start asking yourself questions that you would have in an interview. If you get yourself prepared for that stuff, like when they start asking you, you just go rapid fire. Like it'll be like you'll know the answers to the test before they ask them. French Catholic. Um, I mean, so I'm a non-denominational Christian. So what what city are you in? So you're near Shreveport, right? Well, where are you currently floating? Like, where would you be currently floating on Sunday? Leesville. Yeah, I live right next to the expressway, so my dog hates it. So I'm gonna find a place for you. So give me a second. I'm looking it up right now. I feel like when you're trying to use technology, that's like when you need it to work, that's when it doesn't work. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. You can check it out. Um, so this one I put in the chat. It's a non-denominational church, and I think the reason why they're probably more beneficial to you right now than a Catholic church is that Catholic churches are kind of bland when it comes to like their presentation, kind of like. Well, if you're Catholic, that's fine. But I started to go to a non-denominational church, and uh, I like the worship music. A lot of times, it's somebody that lives in the real world that has a family and all that, and like there's stories and connections and like-minded people that go there. Um, though the one thing I do like about the non-denominational churches is that like a lot of times it's people that have come from all different walks of life, and they just have a general love for Jesus, and they want to kind of dive deeper into that. Where is like being when I was Catholic when I was younger, it was a lot of like ritualistic stuff. So like you have people that are there, but they're not really in. Um, yeah. So like Catholicism is based on like ritualistic things, like you pray to different saints, you do your sacraments, you do your um, all that. Um, but I mean, I've been to a couple of non-denominational churches. And I actually moved from one to another, and I enjoyed it, and I love the music. And it's nice being around like-minded people and seeing people, and they don't judge you, and they're all different walks of life. So I put that in the chat. I looked it up real quick, and it looks like the kind of place I would go to. Um, they're usually non-judgmental places, and a lot of times if you go there and you tell them you're new, they'll talk to you. They'll ask if they want to pray like after a service. You can go up and talk to the leadership team, and they'll pray for you. So if that's something you want, but uh, that's my advice. Hey guys, I see a couple new people in the chat. I'm kind of talking about everything in my chat. So obviously, I started the stream off with talking about my son, and I ventured off into having deeper conversations. So if anybody's on, feel free to put in the chat anything you want to talk about. Um, so what's your name? I haven't got I haven't gotten your name yet. Your real name is Ben. Your government name. Well, thanks for sharing, Ben. I appreciate it. I enjoy having the conversations, and hopefully, um, you take something from the stuff I'm saying. I want to encourage you and uh, know that there's people that are praying for you, and that you're gonna. I believe that you're gonna get what's coming to you. Um, I feel like the fact that you're reaching out and you're having these conversations means that like you care about it and you want to see progress, and I think that's huge. Um, I think it's extremely hard asking for help. I think being men, being the pride that we have, like we never really ask for help. So, um, and everybody struggles. So, yeah, I think sometimes when you're in a downward spiral and like there's people that aren't around you anymore, it's easy to feel that way and feel like you're alone. I think during my during my custody stuff, like there was a lot of stuff that's being said about me, a lot of fallacies and things that were saying like, oh, I was a bad father, I was a bad person, I was a bad man, and like none of that stuff was true. And like I would pray and I'd go to church and I'd be like, I know who I am. Like God knows who I am, regardless of what people are saying about me, whatever that they think about me. Like that's not true. Like I need to stay true to myself, and I think that the best thing you can do is stay consistent with yourself and whatever you're doing, just be consistent with it. And eventually, what happens is uh, if people do talk bad about you and they see you're doing good, uh, usually people's opinions change because your consistency speaks for itself. Like um, at that point, it's not just like it's not lip service. Like it's actual who you are. And then in that process, like you'll find like-minded people, which is one of the reasons why I liked going to church was that hi Lola, thanks for coming back. That was one thing I liked about going to church was like I found like-minded people that were like me, and I joined a men's group and I started talking to other men, and like I got stronger, and like when I was around those other men, I started to I made it a point that when I first went back to church that I was gonna be completely honest with myself, and I was gonna be completely honest with other people, like even if it was embarrassing or shameful or ashamed, I was ashamed to say it. I feel like if you can be honest in a place where you should be vulnerable, then you can start to rebuild. Yeah, I mean, so my best advice for that is that people are going to talk and they're going to say things that they want to say. And I think the lessons I learned in family court can be lessons that you can take into real life. Um, my biggest thing is I always tell people, I'm like, you can never positively change anything in family court with an argument. You can never change it with defending yourself. You can never change it with saying X, Y, and Z, but you can destroy all that in one word. You can destroy that in one sentence or in one response. So you can't change things positively in a moment, but you can definitely change them for the negative. And honestly, if they're strangers, like you're never gonna see these people again anyway. So don't let what they say get to you. Um, it's it's easier said than done, um, but that's why like I found it really important to have my faith because like in those moments like I knew who I was, and when you know who you are, you have conviction about who you are and what you want and the road that you want to go on, you won't let little stuff get in the way. Like for me, it was like I wanted to be a great father, regardless of what people said about me. I was gonna do that. I was gonna outlive the bad things that were being said about me, and I was gonna prove them all wrong. But if you can get over that pride part of it, like that you need to prove them wrong, like you don't need to prove them wrong. Like if you can live with yourself, if you can you're proud of who you are when you wake up and you go to work and you're proud of that, like again, that consistency is gonna be around you. And honestly, one of the hard things to do when you start to have this mindset is that sometimes you need to let go of toxic relationships and toxic people that are around you because that stuff definitely brings you down. Hello, Granny's Southern Corner. I love the name. Are you a grandmother? And do you have a corner shop or a restaurant? Is that you're new here? Well, thanks for joining my live stream. I have all different kinds of content on my channel. Um, well, that's awesome. So I have different stuff on my channel. I'm a single dad. I'm in the military. I have a faith background. I've dealt with death and dying and loss and grief. Nope, a granny. How old are your grandkids? And honestly, I love having different type of people come on to my. Hello, Athena. So I need to know how old are your grandkids, and are you? Do your grandkids are the parents still together? I have great respect for the military and have faith as well. And my granddaughter is 7, and my son's 7. He actually turns 8 this week. Are you the maternal grandmother or the paternal? Maternal or paternal? And thank you for the respect for the military. It's been interesting times right now, so I appreciate that. Well, if you like dad jokes, I tell dad jokes every day. So if you want to subscribe, you can look for those. Um, that's probably the best content I have for those who don't that aren't like dads or men or like in the military. So those are pretty good for everybody, and they're family friendly. So um, you can share with your granddaughter, and she would love it. Yeah, relationships are definitely a struggle, and definitely I went through a pretty chaotic, uh, um, custody battle. And for me as a father, it was all about mindset. I think one of the hardest things to deal with was when my ex started dating somebody new, um, and that was a real struggle. But I tried to change my mindset. You know, a lot of times there was like a jealousy and animosity in the beginning, but then when I started looking at things differently, um, like for example, like when I grew up, I didn't have a strong family. I didn't have like a positive male role model and stuff like that. So um, I try to I try to have a different mindset when being an adult now, and like it was really hard for me to come to terms with the fact that there was no man around my child. Um, but as I started to grow um, and all that, like I guess the way I changed my mindset was that if this person's a good person, like you should want for a father. Like obviously, nobody's ever gonna replace you as a person. I'm in the army. Um, Nobody's ever gonna replace you as a father. Like I think that's the biggest fear that we have, uh, and that might be a struggle that he's having too. So, um, like you think that you're gonna get replaced, and nobody can replace their father, especially if your son, if he's consistent in who he is, and he's um, basically if he does all the right things as a dad, and he makes his daughter first, your granddaughter first, and he gives her the time he needs. The way I looked at it is like when my son is like I started to see from other people because I maintained relationships with not my ex but with my ex's family, and like they would tell me like he was a good guy and stuff like that. And honestly, for kids, like when I became a stepfather myself too, so this is all going to come together. I know it's word salad right now, um, but being a stepfather myself, like my goal was to never replace my stepson's father. My goal was to just be an additional resource, an additional person that cared about him, and somebody that could help him and guide him in ways if he needed it. Like it was never I never pushed it, and I always tried to nurture that relationship with his father because I think that's important. But the mindset that changed was like if I have if my son has somebody else around him that loves him, that cares about him, that's going to protect him, that's going to keep him safe, like I need to get over the pride part of it because it is really hard for me to it was really hard for me to like let go of that part of it. Um, and like honestly, if I can I don't need to trust his like I don't need to have a personal relationship with him, but if I can see through other people that he's a good person and that he's going to take care of my son, that's what's important. And if my son has another person around him that cares about him, that can help him, then that's awesome. And I think one of the hardest things is getting over pride when it comes to that stuff. My granddaughter Miller wanting to, Grant to call the boyfriend dad. Um, I'm just curious. Does your does your son and his ex do they have a co-parenting relationship at all? Like, do they get along, or is it toxic? So, like the one thing I do want to say is, prior to my one attorney that I had, and he gave me really good advice. Um, you can't control, basically, you can't control what other people do. Let me see. Very strange. A new boyfriend has truly changed the relationship my son and my granddaughter's mother have in a very negative way. Um, so I think the hardest part is releasing control, and when the other person starts dating again, you kind of lose control because you're no longer in a situation or relationship where you have control over it. So I couldn't change who my ex dated. I couldn't change who's around my son. All I could change and all I could do was be in control of what I could control. And a lot of times if there's like toxic behavior, and you have to think about it from this standpoint, is like when my relationship, like when we were in family court, we were very combative with one another. And we would just constantly go back and forth. And my best advice is, if your son has the ability to, is to kind of just step up and be the person that lowers the temperature with things. And he can't control anything that she does. He can't control what the new guy does. He can only control what he does. And he can have a talk with your granddaughter and be like, just so you know, I'm always your dad. I'm always gonna love you. I'm gonna be here for you all the time. Uh, if he's a good person and he's around you, I'm glad that you have that extra person. But again, it's as fathers, it's our job to watch over our kids. So, like, if at any point she feels like unsafe or anything like that, that's a different story. Then, like, that's a conversation that needs to happen. But kind of need to gauge that, and kind of like the pride part of it needs to go away. I don't know if that helps at all, but like that's kind of the mindset changes that I kind of made, and I realized there was dividends of difference after I kind of took that mindset and I took control of what I could. Hi, pretty princess. Um, I mean, again, that's awesome for your relationship with God. Is like you need to let go, let God. He'll provide what He needs to. Athena, let me read your comment. Does anyone have any advice for me about how to talk to my dad? My parents divorced 3 years ago, and they go to court every few months like clockwork. Um, how old are you? 15. All right, so Granny, that's the best he can do, is try to find a way to separate the anger that he's having towards that situation, find outlets, go talk to a therapist. I know that's a hard thing for men to admit that they're having problems. But if he can find somebody, ideally not somebody that has any personal stake in it. Like, talking to you is great, but like, if he talks to you, you're gonna obviously tell him like what you're feeling and what's best for him. And sometimes having that individual that has no skin in the game and kind of can see things objectively, that can kind of help. Um, that's one of the things that helped me. So Athena, and I'm a very avid Christian. And every time I try to share my faith, he shuts me down. So I'm actually a reservist, so I only serve 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks in the summer. And my station's close to me. So Athena, is your dad making an attempt to talk to you? Like, do you guys have a relationship? So I'll kind of give a background on myself. So I grew up. I had two mentally ill parents, and I was in the foster care system when I was 3 years old. I lost my twin brother when I was in foster care. My mom had mental health issues, so she wasn't really around. I lost her when I was 21, and my dad was around, but he was around physically, but he wasn't around emotionally. So I came up from a broken home, and when I became a parent, my goal was always just to be the dad that I wish I would have had as a kid. So um, from a mindset like that, I can kind of relate to like any animosity or feelings as a kid. So I guess I just want to say, let's see, not really. I never talked to him much growing up. He mostly took any job he could to get out of the house. So he was always very angry about I know is always very angry about a lot. Um, so like right now, I don't have a relationship with my father really. Like, I mean, he's still technically around, kinda. But I like this firm belief, and this is the way I look at parenting, is that like if you want to have a relationship with your kids later on in life, you need to be able to put your pride aside now. You need to be undistracted. You need to put your effort into your kids now, because if you don't put your effort in your kids now, you don't deserve to have a relationship with them later. And like being a kid, like you it's so important for kids to have their dads. And like when I was a kid, I didn't have my dad around really, and like times where I needed him, and a lot of bad things happened to me because of that. And I completely understand how you're feeling. Not having a strong positive role model, male role model in my life kind of affected me. And I think I grew stronger because of it. Obviously, it took my faith and God, and it took going to counseling and therapy to get over it. But I one of the things I would do when I was younger is I would journal and kind of write letters to the people I wish. Like when my mom passed away, obviously she wasn't around because she passed away, but like I'd write letters to her of things I wanted to say. And you can't force a relationship with your parents, and um, eventually you might get upset and angry about it. And just if you can find other, I don't want to see you like put all your effort into chasing after somebody that doesn't want to be around. Because like I think the one thing I learned is like once I got older and like my dad became, well, I guess I do want to make a distinction. I think there's a clear difference between a father and a dad. A father is somebody that has a kid. A dad is somebody that protects their child. A dad is somebody that shows up for their kids, that does what he says, that he shows love. Um, and I think there's a clear distinction between those two things. And if you're going through a hard time right now, just don't beat yourself up. Um, Honestly, like one of the reasons why I made this channel is that I feel like so many dads just kind of disappear, and I don't want to see that happen to you. And like I want you to be able to hold on, I just want to catch up on things real quick. I never talked to him much growing up. He mostly took any childhood or angry about a lot. So I think I just want to make sure I'm kind of articulating this correctly. Um, Not having my parents around, not having a good father around, um, made me look at life a little differently. It made me work harder. It made me kind of, when I was becoming a father myself, I was terrified because I didn't really have um, the guidance or like seeing it firsthand to know how to do it. Um, and when I became a dad, it was basically just being the parent I wish I would have had. Uh, I know you want your dad around, and it's completely normal to feel that way. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be pissed off. It's okay to cry. Uh, None of these stuffs make you weak, and it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you or the reason why he's not having that communication with you. Some people are not good people. Some people just don't have the ability to be selfless, or some people are just selfish and they don't have the ability to feel empathy towards other people. They only think about themselves and how certain things are affecting them. And I think being a dad, like you need to put your own personal pride aside. You need to be there for your kids regardless of what. So like it's okay for you to be angry. And it's okay for you to feel sad. And if you want to kind of, if you still have those feelings, my best advice to you would be to write letters, write a journal. And when you do have the opportunity to talk to your dad, give him those letters, give him that journal. And um, yeah, this is like one of the hardest parts about the family court system. And this was like the hardest part for me is that like it almost seems like the system rewards fathers that don't care. Like they'll let dads walk away. Or again, I want to distinguish the difference. Um, so they let fathers walk away without any thought. But for a dad that really loves their kid, it's so hard. And I mean, there was nights where like I would cry. Like it was the hardest times in my life was fighting for my son, and I never wanted to lose him. And thankfully, by the grace of God, like things worked out. But it was staying consistent. Like again, I was talking earlier about people are gonna will say things about you, but your consistency is what changes that stuff. Like so, like when I was going to family court for my son, my first of all, family court brings out the worst in people, and it brings out nastiness and ugliness, and it's like a war of words, and truly nobody wins in family court. Kids lose, parents lose, like there's just no winners. Um, but like bad things were said about me. But the one thing I was able to do was be consistent with my son, and when basically he was old enough to be able to speak for himself, he could show like, hey, this stuff isn't real. So like if your dad wanted to be there and he wanted to be consistent, he could. And um, honestly, you're at the old enough. You're old enough where you can call out the bullshit. Like I think like I was part of a parenting podcast, and basically like we talked about like when parents give you advice. So like if you have like a consistent parent that's around and they're there for you all the time and they're there to support you and they're there through the rough times, the hard times, the good times. Like I always broke it up in like the three parts of parenting. Like you have your first your first 6 years where you're disciplining your kids. Basically, you're teaching them how to be. 6 to 12 is when you're teaching them. So like you're teaching them like school stuff, and then like ages 12 to 18 is when you guide your kids. So basically, everything that you taught them discipline, you taught them other things, and this is when you guide them. And then when kids have problems, and they come back, they have trust in their parents that they can ask them stuff, and their parents are going to guide them. But when you don't have that consistency and you're not around a lot, when like if your dad was to come back in your life and he tried to give you advice on something, you'd probably be like, I'm not listening to you. Like you've shown nothing to show that you're willing to do this. Um, and honestly, like I went through a lot of hard times as a kid, and I think the one thing I do want to say is that like I am grateful for all the struggles that I went through as a kid because it allowed me to grow into the person I am today, and it allowed me to see things differently and have a little more humility and humble. So like you might not think like things are probably really hard for you right now, and I'm not going to discount any of that. And it's okay to feel all those things, but the stuff that you're feeling now can be stuff that pushes you to becoming the best version of yourself that you could have ever even imagined. Like, if you would have told me at 15 years old that I'd be where I am today, I'd tell you you're full of crap. So let me see if I can catch up real quick. Oh, you're welcome, Athena. Yeah, it's hard having siblings and kind of seeing and watching them feel heartbreak because again, like we have this natural connection. We want our parents to love us, and like my biggest thing like I remember as a kid is like the most important thing to give to your kids. Like I remember being a little kid and being on the playground and like wanting my dad to watch me do stuff on the playground and he wasn't there. Or when I went to sports, he wasn't there. So like the one thing I do now is like I always make sure I'm like I will always be there. I will if I can't be there, it's for a good reason. Um Again, that's the consistency and that's how I build a rapport with him and like he has trust in me and um I would say the best thing you could do for yourself too is try to get help. Um Trying to do this alone is honestly the worst thing you can do and um like you're gonna probably try to replace that void for your sister and you both just need to like finding ways of being able to express your emotions and be able to kind of live. And the worst thing you can do is hang on to this and let it deplete you. I mean, because at a point you'll get to the point where you're just he might come back in your life one day, or he might come back in a couple weeks or a couple months, and you're gonna be like, I don't need you. And if you get to that point, just know that don't feel bad about that. Like you have every right to feel that way, and if you have to have that conversation with him, he deserves that. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is like one of the topics that really irks me the wrong way. Um, like when I see dads not step up, or fathers not step up and be dads. That's why, honestly, why I made this channel is to be able to talk to dads and hopefully get them to get their stuff together in situations. Because a lot of times, fathers will allow themselves to be prisoners of the moment and act out a certain way instead of realizing what's important. I guess the one thing I do want to say to you is take note of how your father is acting, how he's treating your mom, how he's treating your sister. And when you grow up, when you decide to fall in love with somebody, just be aware of these type of characteristics so that you can find somebody that has better that's better for you, that's better for your future kids. Um, Again, these are all I think we learn so many things when we're younger, and there's so many things that we can carry with us. They said the biggest adversities I had as a kid are things that motivated and pushed me and taught me and um, kind of gave me a different sense and outlook on life as an adult. So I think what might be easier for you, there's a maybe don't try to have the conversation in person. Um, I would write down all the stuff you're feeling, put it in a letter, and then give it to him because my worst fear for you is that you'll go there and you'll play in your head over and over again what you want to say and you'll expect this conversation to happen and you go to have it with him and he shuts down or he ejects and doesn't allow you to have that moment, and that's going to affect you more than if you just like ignored it. um, but at least if you put it in a letter, you can put everything out there, you can put everything that you're feeling, and he can read it in a letter and he can take it all in. And I would say that would probably be the best way to do it. Obviously, you can do whatever you feels best for you, but it sounds like you have a lot of emotions that you want to get out, and I think when you put pen to paper, it kind of gives you an opportunity to feel those things and read those things out loud and kind of get a different perspective on things. I think one way I would phrase it is, I think the one thing you need to say is, I feel like you don't see me. Like, and that doesn't mean like physically see you, but like, I feel like you don't see me in the way that I need you to. And if that's not a wake up call to him, I don't know what else is. Like, no child should ever feel like they they're not good enough for their parents. And honestly, it breaks my heart for you. And like, I wish I could talk some sense into your father, because you sound like a good kid, and um, you deserve better than that. So um, I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for your father that he gets his act together before it's too late. I pray that you're able to either have that relationship mend and get better, or I pray that you're able to find peace and find happiness in yourself. Well, thanks for coming on and discussing and kind of being vulnerable. I appreciate that. I don't know if anything I said helped you. Just trying to give you my perspective, and hopefully it helped. Um, if you want to subscribe to my channel, I tell funny dad jokes every day. um, I don't know if anything else I have on my channel would help you or not, but maybe tell your dad to subscribe to my channel and get his head out of his butt. That would help. Because most of my videos are about dads stepping up and becoming better versions of themselves. And my son actually turns 8 this week. I'm sad and happy at the same time. I appreciate you saying that, Granny. Um, I'll pray for you. I'll pray for your granddaughter, your son, and hopefully there's peace and you guys can all love each other. Just go to the bed of the fact, if you can find out if he's a good man or not, that your granddaughter is good. I mean, he can't control what his ex does, and there's a reason why she's his ex. So just don't put yourself in a situation where you're gonna lose time with your granddaughter over it. So I'll definitely pray for you, Granny. I'm glad to hear that. May God bless you. So guys, I gotta check off tonight too. I got work at 7 o'clock in the morning, so night comes early. But I think it's important to have these conversations and be able to come on and have real conversations. Like I said, the algorithm doesn't really push my videos to everybody, so this is kind of a good way to me to be able to connect and kind of have real conversations with people. Honestly, it's amazing to be able to have some of these conversations and hopefully make impacts. And I'm learning a lot from you guys too. I can't tell you how blessed I am to have the opportunity to be in front of you guys. So if you like this live stream, if you like the stuff that we discussed, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Like I said, there's jokes every day, so they're family fun and they're friendly, and they're I do them every day. So if you like to have little stupid laughs every day, subscribe. And I'll be on live stream soon. I'll try to schedule them more. So if you guys want to come back on and share your stories and kind of let me know where things are going, Athena, please feel free to come back on and comment. If you want to go on one of my videos or something like that, just comment on something, or my next live stream, you can come on and kind of let me know what happened. I would definitely love to know how things are going and if things got better. So have a good night, guys. May blessings come to you, and may God bless you and your families. Take care, guys.